If I Fall, Will You Catch Me? Chapter 2 by Cricket 336. Summary. Of course, Wilbur smiles. The easiest way to hide the truth if you were caught on a lie is to cover with another. Wilbur knows that well. This man is hiding something. Note, Tommy is a sad baby who doesn't understand social cues. Quotations. Me, LOL. Wilbur has never seen anyone with gray eyes before. But they weren't really gray. Well, they were blue, or at least supposed to be, which was probably why he couldn't stop staring at the kid walking into the room. He was tall, with blonde hair and a boyish face. Jesus, how old was this guy? Wilbur feels a chill go down his spine as he looks at him, his flat eyes holding no emotion behind them. Wilbur was a curious person. If he saw a puzzle, he had the itch to solve it. Find a missing piece. If he saw a mystery, he was determined to learn the whole story step by step, no matter how long it took. It's why he took this job, the chance to uncover the secret of a country neighborhood. His own was too big of his opportunity to pass up. And if he was honest, who would turn down the opportunity to be a spy? So far, however, it's been exclusively amounts of paperwork, late-night coffees, and being left with more unanswered questions than before. For example, he's just spitballing ideas. Why the hell is Dream claiming that a little teenager with a gun on his hip who reports about suspicious activity is an intern? If Wilbur thinks rationally, it's probably because the kid is definitely not old enough to be working here, much less have a gun. But Wilbur is not the one for rational thoughts. Though he decides, the slight panic in Dream's voice and the rush of his words suggests there's more, and Wilbur would be damned if he doesn't figure it out. Apologies for the interruption. Where were we? Dream speaks up. Right, I believe we were talking about your client, Tal. Nikki calmly states from behind him. She seems less transfixed on the previous situation than he is. I'm sorry, I just have a real quick question. He interrupts whatever Dream was about to say. What exactly do you do around here again? Last time we spoke, you said it was environmental EPA work, cleaning up action sites, so it just seems unlikely that you need to equip your interns with a weapon. He tilts his head slightly at the man sitting across the desk from him. He holds a tight-lipped smile. Wilbur is a climatic person by nature, although sometimes it would call it manipulative. He holds the ability to put the right amount of tone into his voice to make it seem harmless, trustworthy. He's a diploma back home. He's incredibly good at his job. If that was a bit forward. Just curious all. Wilbur chuckles, and Nikki sighs from beside him, as though quiet. No, I completely understand, says Dream. After a moment, his expression is dangerously calm. You're right, of course. Interns do not carry weapons. He's a security guard in training. I was simply worried the two of you might have some complaints about his age. Now, if we can continue. Of course, Wilbur smiles. The easiest way to hide the truth if you were caught in a lie is to cover it with another. Wilbur knows that well. This man is hiding something. He tunes out the next position of the conversation, eventually being too put off by the uneasy, unsettling glaze from the man across from him. Would I love to talk more about it with you, so we can work out a partnership, but I'm afraid we have to be somewhere. Wilbur looks down at his watch and pretends to be late for something, standing up and putting his hand out for Dream to shake. Dream grips his hand, looking straight into his eyes before letting go and shaking Nikki's. We'll stay in touch. Dream smiles slightly, putting his hand in his pockets and watching them leave. As soon as they're out of the office and out of earshot, Wilbur turns to Nikki, and by the look on her face, she's thinking the same thing. Who the hell was that kid? Wilbur whispers as they step into the elevator, pushing the buttons for the lobby. He's lying about something. No one trains teenagers for security guards positions, much less with a gun. Nikki shrugs, sighing. I'll have Tubba run a background check on him, but for now, there's nothing we can do. Wilbur sighs, frustrated, but he knows she's right. If Dream works under the government, and if he's in charge of the kid, there isn't much they can do. Something about that sits wrong under Wilbur's skin. They walk into the lobby, and moraines are already forming in the back of Wilbur's head. Make sure we install those new stocks today. Wilbur snaps his head from the secretary's desk where the kid from earlier is leaning his forearms against it and talking quietly. His back is facing them, and Wilbur takes the opportunity to stride up to the desk. Wilbur! Nikki whispers, but he's already there and leaning against the front desk on his side. Hey kid, what's your name again? Tommy startles, whipping his body around to face Wilbur, a hand already straying to the gun at his side. His gray eyes narrow as he looks Wilbur up and down and relaxes, but his hand doesn't leave his hip. They have a staring contest before Wilbur scoffs lightly and puts his hand out. I'm Wilbur. You are... Tommy doesn't shake Wilbur's hand. Instead, he crosses his arms and takes a step back. His expression is guarded and visually blank, but his stance is positioned and hunched like he's getting ready to run. Wilbur grins and puts his hand down. It's not polite to stare. Well, he chuckles. Something in Tommy's eyes click, and there's a brief flash of panic before the coldness returns. Tommy. Wilbur smiles. Nice to meet you, Tommy. Where are you? Do you need an escort out? Tommy cuts in. His tone remains flat, eerily so his face flickers with annoyance before it's gone. Wilbur shoots a glance at Nikki, who shrugs. Yeah, sure, that would be great. Wilbur agrees and starts walking. He hears Tommy whisper something to the secretary before following him, and Wilbur watches from his peripheral. He walks forwardly. He obviously knows that what he's doing, but Wilbur still catches flashes of panic that seems to take over his face before returning to his emotionless expression. It's unnerving. So, private security, huh? Wilbur starts and he smiles when Tommy looks at him with surprise. Perfect. Yeah, Dream told me you were his bodyguard. Dream told him no such thing, but by the look on Tommy's face, he knew he was right. Tommy responds with a nod, staring straight ahead. So, when did you start training? You're obviously through with it. I mean, it looks like you're primed to kill. Wilbur jokes, gesturing to Tommy's gun, but Tommy turns his head so hard, Wilbur's afraid it might have torn a muscle. Of course I'm not killing anybody. Why would you say that? He says, and randomly, to a random person. Tommy would sound angry, even intimidating, but Wilbur knows better. He's been analyzing people his own life. He knows when someone's scared. Alright, man, chill out. Alright, chill out, man. I was joking. Tommy doesn't relax. They arrive at their car, and Tommy eyes widens in realization that the blue Jeep is theirs. He crosses his arms as Wilbur climbs into the driver's seat and Nikki in the passenger seat. Hey, kid, she says, putting her hand out of the window. She has a small card in her hand, and when Tommy takes it, she smiles. Give us a call anytime, okay? With that, Wilbur gives him a two-finger salute and drives off, driving under the fence that was opened for them. Wilbur is reaming. Personal bodyguard, that may or not be killing people? He reports out loudly, only half joking. There's more than that. There has to be, Nikki says, chewing at her nail. Something about him was just off. Alright, Wilbur grips the steering wheel a little tighter, a little harder. Logically, why would Dream lie to his co-workers about having a personal bodyguard? It could be Tommy's age, or he's just distrustful person, Nikki offers. Wilbur shakes his head. Why was he so worried, though? Dream's the head of his branch. It's not like he could get in trouble for having Tommy around. What if he could? I really doubt it. Anyone's above Dream cares about the age of his bodyguard. Alright, so it's not his age. Here's another question. Why wouldn't he want Tommy in the room with us if he didn't trust us so much? Wilbur asked, fidgeting with the air conditioning. It's like he's hiding him or something, Nikki concludes. They both are silent for a moment. I'll call Tubba. We still have to do other work to do. We still have other work to do. Wilbur, don't get too caught up in this, okay? Wilbur waves his hand dismissively. Yeah, I won't. Tommy is rightfully fucked. He hides the tremors in his left hand by covering it with his right. The muscle between his middle and index finger never quite the same after having it slammed in the door, especially bad when he's nervous. He licks his lips repeatedly and taps his foot against the ground as the elevator lifts him. His body feels cold and his nerves fire up underneath his skin. Fuck. He walks down the hall to Dream's office, swallowing. Despite his dry mouth, he gets to the door and knocks, easily forcing his panic to the back of his mind. Tommy could be intimidating, but Dream could be outright terrifying. The perfect killer had to be trained by someone even better, right? Come in. Dream's voice betrays nothing, and Tommy frantically searches his face for any emotion while he enters the room. Maybe if he knew what Dream was feeling, he could defend himself better. Unfortunately, his face is passive as ever as Tommy walks into the office. Tommy schools his features and wraps a hand around his wrist behind his back, staring straight ahead. He feels his mind cloud as Dream walks towards him, an unfamiliar haze of obedience taking over the forefront of his brain. You were late, Dream says, simply, calmly. It won't happen again, Tommy replies almost immediately, mouth moving before he has to think about it. Dream hums, shredding a file on his desk. I know. A pause, and Tommy understands what's coming next. He knows this moment well. Dream is his boss, his mentor, but secretly. And it really is a secret, isn't it? When you're trying to keep it from everyone, everything, even from yourself. Dream is Tommy's everything. He knows Dream. He knows the routine they have, the life they live together. He knows what he's going to do next. It is not a surprise when Dream looks at him in the eyes and says, "Who do you work for?" "You," he immediately answers. "Who do you live for?" he asked, his tone more icy than it was a second ago. "You," he says without a beat, and he means it. Tommy is Dream's. There was always a part of his question that he didn't understand, despite his constant answering, "Who do you live for?" That's the funny thing. Is he really living? "You listened to Soot's order today," Dream said, without giving Tommy a chance to answer, looking down at the papers in front of him again. "And you blankly ignored mine. Not to mention you interrupted one of my meetings, rather rudely too." I did. No point of denying it. Dream sighs and looks at the ceiling. "Oh, Tommy, you used to be so good." Tommy drops. Guilt consumes him where he stands, because it's true, isn't it? He was good. No, he was perfect. And now he gone and ruined it. His vision blurs, not with tears, but with barely contained panic. What if Dream gets rid of him? When a tool is faulty, you throw it away. It's perfect. There is no shame in discarding it. Dream could kill him. Worse, he could leave Tommy to himself, abandon him outside alone. Tommy could not survive without Dream. Without something in charge of him, killing him would be a gift. "I'll be good again. I'll be better, Dream." Dream sighs, walking over and stopping right in front of Tommy. He's a couple inches taller, gaining that much more over Tommy. He brings a hand to Tommy's face, hooking a finger underneath his chin and tilting his face up to fully meet Dream's. His hand moves quickly, snapping towards Tommy's chin with a grip that might have leave a bruise. If he doesn't let go soon, Tommy shoves down the whimper that raises in his throat, keeping his face slack. "Will you, or will you mess it up again?" Dream asks ironically, his head tilting to the side romantically. "No, I'm loyal to you, Dream." Dream smiles and gently and lets his face go, patting his cheeks softly before turning away. Tommy's skin burns where he touched it. "Your own security cameras," he says. Back to Tommy as he ruffles paper on his desk. Tommy silently leaves the room, letting out a breath when the door clicks behind him. He rubs his jaw as he walks down the hallway towards the elevator, his skin tender. He gets to the main lobby and doesn't return the wave the reception sends him, walking straight into the back room where the cameras are. The slight shaking as he slides down in the dark, his eyes adjusting to the harsh glow of the cameras. Integration, like that, always sets Tommy's back a couple notches. He needs at least an hour to reset himself, shake it off. The guilt of letting Dream down was worse feeling, mind buzzing as the words fell away from underneath him. Guilt. He hates himself for it, letting the sensation cloud his head and letting him be as miserable as clay. It was easy to do, and Dream knew that, took advantage of that. He has to. You're too fucking useless to do anything for yourself. You need authority, and it's true. He would crumble without someone to be loyal to. But as mindlessly he watches the different areas of the building, the only movement behind the birds fluttering around the cameras, he treacherously wonders what would happen if he didn't have any loyalty at all. Oh guys, I'm so sorry. That was such a rough chapter. I haven't read for so long. And things happened. And I'm not expecting a person to watch this, but I am expecting the rest of them to watch this or listen to it. Not fully to the end. But sorry for this being such a rough chapter. I don't know what's going on with the accents. I don't know why I kept making Dream British, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a Canadian girl. I'm sorry. I don't know any accents. But yeah, this took me like 15 tries to do. More probably.